Me too. I hope everybody in the chat is doing well after this Tuesday. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Since some of them are a little camera shy.
That's okay. So am I. Just wiped off my camera.
Oh, so we have a message
I was
from
saying,
Jane. He says, "Hi, God, blessed good day. Enough respect, enough respect. So get yourself comfortable, guys. We're just doing our final touches. Okay, good evening and welcome everyone to our 24th Career Day event. Woo! So it would have been nice for it to be our 25th, in light of Christmas being the 25th of December. But, still giving God thanks for the opportunity to give us 24 career days. And I'm sure this one is going to be just as great as the others that we've had already. And of course, it's Christmas season, so I'm in my red for all those who, like to dress up for the Christmas. Definitely glad to have you here with us. And even though it's not your field, seen in the chat, even though it's not your field, definitely glad to have you. And hopefully it you will be able to learn some things from this field, because we do recognize that UI UX, it's all about the customers. It's all about how it is that you make them feel. And we have Anastasia Chin, who is going to walk us through the process, walk us through how it is that she does what she does. And hopefully you'll be able to use some of that knowledge to be able to apply the same principles, because underneath it all, for every business to succeed, for every encounter to be successful, we definitely need customers, and we definitely need to appeal to them. All right. Okay. So these are our objectives, right? So we are a community of creative thinkers. We are a community of persons who build software, build solutions, test. We're not just developers. We're creative thinkers, because as we've rightly showing you, those persons who use technology, they are welcome to be a part of this community, welcome to learn and to grow and to excel with us. Now, we are definitely in the market of building and sharing our skills, because the reality is our skills and our different techniques that we've owned over the years, there's an opportunity for us to continue to work on them, continue to express them, continue to grow them. And here's an opportunity through this community for us to market and share skills with not just those who are immediately around us, but a wider set of persons, so that we can get the career going. Because the reality is we do need more UI UX persons. We do need more testers. We do need more animators. The field is not saturated, and we also want to encourage persons to continue to grow their skills, so that we can create a much better environment for our children and or the future generation, and even for us to enjoy. For too long, we've been having hackers in the space, coming, tearing down our different infrastructure. But, as long as we build together and we, remain strong and safe, definitely can overcome. It's also, of course, an opportunity to learn and share your knowledge. Just as what I was saying about cybersecurity just now, I alluded to, there are certain best practices that from time to time we will share with the community, as how it is that we test, how it is that we build, how it is that we create, how it is that we secure our network or infrastructure. So it's definitely an opportunity for each and every one to learn and to share the different knowledge that they have. Now, there's a problem that is happening, in the Caribbean. We have many talented persons, but unfortunately, companies cannot find us, right? And unfortunately, there are times when we don't necessarily have the right skills and expertise. Maybe it's in public speaking, maybe it is some soft skills as it relates to how to interact with persons in a shared space. But here is this community coming together to solve a problem, right? And we do recognize that there are a lot of talented persons here, but sometimes there's also a lack of awareness that there's so much talent and so much products and services available here. So we definitely want to solve that problem and move Jamaica, move the Caribbean from mostly a consumer of technology to a producer of technology, a producer of innovative ideas and expertise. Now, this is our agenda for today. So we're going to be introducing Anna, who's going to be our speaker for today. And of course, we're going to be having a open discussion with persons to get them to, share what it is that they may have concern, if it is that this is a field that they'd want to go in, or if it's a field that they can be inspired to do something in the field of tech, definitely want to hear from each and every one of you guys, whatever it is that you'd want to share. And then of course, we'll wrap up. Okay. So now Anna is a dynamic creative technologist, filmmaker, and multimedia artist proudly representing Jamaica. Armed with a bachelor's degree in computer science and theater and art from Trinity College, Anna has seamlessly blended her technical skills with her artistic sensibilities. So the reality is, whichever field that you're in, you can there's no skill, there's no talent that is going to be wasted. And Anna has definitely showed us that she can blend drama, she can blend the theater, arts, and dance with her career. Anna, welcome.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Aldin. Yes, I think everything can be put together, merged, and used for the greater good, and I try to do that with myself and with how I navigate my career space. And so far, so good. Yeah, so thank you for that intro. Aldin, I'm not sure if you have any more slides or if you want me to share my screen.
You can go ahead and share.
Okay. And I'm just gonna share a little bit about me and we can jump into my journey of how UX found me or how I found UX. Um, things I would have told myself a year ago before I jumped into this avenue. And I would love for us to do a little interactive session where I want us to share resources with each other. I've started this page already, and we'll just all say everybody can go off of mute if you're feeling comfortable to do so, and we'll just share some stuff together. Okay, I am putting this on presentation mode. There, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, can we see my screen? Yes, I hope so.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right, so here's a little bit about me. Hi, my name is Anna, and these are my fun facts. So I graduated from Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut in 2022, last year, with a BA in computer science and theater and dance, where I concentrated in specifically media and directing. So as much as the term is called theater and dance, within that degree, I learned a lot about interactive media, combining different elements of visual arts into digital art, I guess I would say. And that's kind of how I found my introduction to UX design. I'm also a former national swimmer, a current swim coach. I love to swim. Coached a robotics team the other October ago, and we came second overall, which was cool. Also a lover for nature adventure. If anybody loves nature and adventure, you can just drop a heart in the chat or anything, any reaction, your choice. Loves to dance, loves to create dance films. I went to Immaculate Conception High School, so if there's any Immac girls around, hi. Any Immac girl friends, hello to you too. And I'm also an award-winning filmmaker, specifically dance filmmaker. So that's a little rundown about me. So my journey. So finding UX or how UX found me. As I said, my two different majors, or before going into college, I always had, I guess I can say, a creative flair to myself. That's something I knew before stepping into my studies that I wanted to explore or figure out a way where I can incorporate it within a career. So when I chose, I think I was always going to study computer science. One of the first things I wanted to be in my life, I don't know if I can say this on here, but I'm going to say it was a spy. So when computer science was on the rise, cybersecurity, I used all of my computer time to learn more about that world. And what resonated with me the most was the fact that things looked very different. You go to different websites, you interact with things very differently. And I always wondered, oh, well, if I were to make this, then what would I want it to be like? And that was kind of a thought that I carried with me throughout my studies, which led me to very creative endeavors, from being in front of the computer screen to being in front of a camera, which I feel like goes hand in hand with that creative vision and user experience. Using an analogy here, so when you're filming, you have to have a treatment in mind. You plan the treatment, you execute that treatment, you work with your teammates to create this new visual that people can enjoy and immerse themselves in. So I find that same approach with UX as well when it comes down to designing and figuring out how things should interact, how you would want to interact with it, how you can think about somebody else who is not your age range, has no computer knowledge, how to interact with that, and just breaking that down. So that interested me. So if that interests you, then maybe this is a field you want to dive into. Um, yes. So one of my college advisors actually, since my last thesis or my senior thesis was centered around combining art and technology. She saw how I merged that together and she had suggested, oh, have you ever thought of going in a UX route? I asked her, what did that mean? She told me more about what UX is and how you can navigate that work field. And that's something that I was interested in. So I said, well, hey, why not? Let me just take a try. Are you guys still seeing my presentation, by the way? Because something kind of came up on my screen.
Yes.
Oh, you're
So we're
seeing it. Okay,
actually
great.
seeing GitHub.
Oh, no, that's what you're seeing now. Okay, let me come back here.
Oh, okay, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, so my advisor told me about UX design, UX experience, what comes of figuring out what's the best way for people to interact with a screen, with multiple different screens, and I decided that I'm gonna give it a try. So that led me into getting equipped. What started my journey was working as a UX strategist as an intern for a med tech company. So I ended up designing parts of their app. They have a mobile app, and I was in charge of designing different elements, putting pages together, things along that line. How I would work was I would have a front-end developer that I would be working close by with, and once he tells me the problem or whatever we need to fix, I would figure out a sketch. So that's kind of was my process of understanding translating what the person is trying to tell me about what we need to fix, and then from building a sketch, it would be now digitizing that. And I mean, now these days there's multiple softwares. I feel like another software drops every single day for UX design. As Aldin was saying, it's becoming a very lucrative field, and a lot of people are providing more information about user experience and different apps and softwares that you can use that can help you to build these certain things. So that meant I needed a strong computer that can manage, not Premiere Pro, but you don't really have to use that, but Adobe Creative Suite, being able to run different websites all at the same time, maybe juggling just different really heavy software. So one thing I knew I needed was a strong system. So I had to invest in a strong system, a good, a nice computer with a good amount of storage. And then also what I learned was that you can never really stop learning with this. I mean, with many things in life, the learning curve is very curvy. It's very curvaceous. There's so many avenues to go down. There's so many different apps that you can learn from. And that's something that brings me to my next slide, that I wish I knew before. Well, I wish I knew a year ago, of understanding that it's a great learning curve, but once you're surrounded with people or finding community that can help you to grow in this field, that's really how you flourish. So shout out to anybody who has helped me in my UX journey. Big up Osub. And yeah, that's one thing I'll tell myself a year ago. Find community in the field. There are maybe this, when we jump into the discussion section, we can speak about the UX communities out here in Jamaica, greater UX communities around the world that we can tap into. And my next slide is a couple of resources that I would love for all of us to take part in. And Alden can probably send off this information once the meeting is over. But yeah, absolutely. Community is one thing. Always set time to learn more about the field. There's many great podcasts that they discuss about UX design techniques or UX strategy techniques, front end development techniques, everything that you probably need to think about when it comes down to visual designing and also translating this into computations. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I would like to start this convo. We'll jump
Okay.
into discussion, and I don't know, Alden, if you want to do this now, or we can list out more UX design resources, or we can add this back into the discussion part, anything, but just something that we can leave here with today.
Okay, no problem. So yes, we definitely can have this up for those persons who would want to, try it out. Canva, you can sign up for free, use the different templates that's there, get your feet wet in terms of, seeing what is available and get some ideas from, because as Anastasia would have rightly said, this is a field that allows you to be creative. Now, let's just go back into a few things that you would have said earlier in terms of, and we're seeing O'Shane posting also an additional resource that you guys can also check out, shuttle.dev in the chat. So thank you very much, O'Shane. So
I'll add that to this.
no problem. All right. So one of the things that you were saying was that you basically got a chance to put yourself in the shoes of the customer in terms of when you're making your design. Do you want to elaborate more a bit on that process, or how it is that you try to solve this problem?
So how did I try to solve the problem? Is that the question?
Yes, so what it's like putting yourself in the shoe of the customer. Is it that you get angry and you're like, okay, I'm an angry customer and I need to find out how to click the button and sign up, and I need to be able to find this button. Is it what are your steps in putting on the shoes for the customer?
Well, the first step is maneuvering through the experience that I'm supposed to be experiencing. And then from there, asking myself, what is wrong or what feels wrong? Because we all have that feeling when you're on a website and things are not really making sense. And they should be, because it was developed to make sense. So I would figure out or ask myself, well, what doesn't seem to be as clear as it needs to be? I make note of that, and then if it comes down to me being able to develop it myself, I'll take a stab at a redesign of some sort. But if I'm not on a team, a development team for the project or the application, whatever it might be, to help resolve the problem, I first would just want to know, okay, well, if I'm not enjoying this experience, then how can I take note of doing better or being better for another project that I personally am working on? I feel like it's really common for us to have opinions on sites or apps if they're not cookie cutter, or if they seem to look different from the typical app or a website. So that's the first thing I definitely would want to figure out. I have to ask myself, what are the problems here and how can it be better? How can it be solved?
Okay, excellent. And a very interesting thing that you just said is that you're always trying to find ways to improve, because the reality is how we designed websites a couple of years ago is not the same as how we design websites now. And we're having a shout out Immaculate. Woo! Yeah. All right. So all the Immaculate Massive, big up on yourself. Yes, Anna is representing, doing very well in her field, and still being creative, because sometimes there's a narrative of technologists, persons in using technology, being a bit you know not dull, not very expressive. But we do see where we have a very talented young lady who also does filmmaking, who is in dancing, and she's making waves. Okay, I see the chat lighting up. Let me see what is going on.
Oh, Jordan was just saying she likes using Canva, even for leisure as well. I feel like it's not even bad to invest in Canva Pro, um, because a lot of the things basically it's just a one click away versus doing many clicks on Photoshop or other different editing softwares.
Hmm.
And then we just have some additional resources that I'll add to this page. Thank you everybody for dropping.
Okay, so that is why we have communities, guys, because essentially there may be some resource that you guys may get used to that, you're not necessarily, other persons may not necessarily be aware of, or some other resources that some persons may be using that you are not necessarily aware of. And so you can get to come together and create this beautiful, collaboration as we continue to share ideas and grow, because we definitely want to see our industry grow in a much greater fashion, because technology is here to stay, and we just have to use it properly. All right. So now, apart from your studies, which you've said that this was a university overseas, yes, let's go into that a little. How was that like for you?
Okay, so for me, I went on a swimming scholarship and it was a predominantly white institution. If I'm being specific, it's one of the highly ranked PWIs in the United States. And it's also a small liberal arts college. So we're imagining I was the only black girl who graduated in my class. Probably only other one black computer science major. Um, just kind of being singled out in every kind of capacity you can think of, especially going to a PWI. As someone who grew up in Jamaica for all of my life, I can't say I was well traveled because of the sport. Swimming brought me into many different countries, which I'm very grateful for. But deciding to land and study in a space that was very unfamiliar to me, I experienced a lot of culture shock. I felt a little intimidated, but that Immac girl in me held it down. And yeah, my experience was one for the books, but I learned a lot. The school was very accommodating of a lot of my needs, which I'm very grateful for. I had a great advisor, a computer science advisor. She's a cybersecurity specialist, brilliant woman, and I learned a lot from her, and I learned a lot from my other classmates. Since it was a small school, everything was the focus was more targeted. The projects were more intentional, and we had more hands-on experience. So for my senior project, which is something that I worked on for maybe 2 to 3 years, I learned a lot from that. I jumped into computer vision within those years. I still have a very high inclination for computer vision and figuring out how I can merge computer vision and my artistic practices to link human data to art pieces, one of a kind pieces of information. That's kind of where my college experience took me. But yeah, it was an experience that there's one other Jamaican on the campus with me, so at least there was that community there. I really stress community so much because that's college was all about figuring out what I really needed as an individual and how I can immerse myself into spaces that will only help me to become a better version of myself. A club that I was a part of, well, I was a part of many things. I assisted in the admissions office, worked as an information systems technologist in the library, as a TA, as a teaching assistant for CompSci. I was a VP of the Caribbean Students Association. And while all of that was happening, I was filming one of my first films that got awarded at two film festivals in the US and in the UK. So I was really lucky and I felt really grateful to graduate and starting to work and giving back to my community in any way that I can. Um, that's pretty much my experience in a nutshell. If you ask me more specific questions, I can get into specifics, but
Oh,
yeah.
not a problem, not a problem. So guys, if it is that you actually have a question that you'd want to find out more about Anna, more about her journey, perhaps you may be having doubts whether or not you should migrate and go to a university overseas. Anna has done it. It's possible. She said she was in the minority. It felt a little unusual, but she was able to pull through, and she's back here with us in Jamaica, and still staying connected. So regardless of where you are on your journey in IT, whether it is that you had formal training or not, there is an opportunity for you guys to get involved. And let us go to the chat because I think there are some questions that are there. So Anna, if someone doesn't have, let's say, a background in IT, would you recommend them getting into UI UX and what? I mean, I think you said you kind of stumbled into UI UX based on just the fact that you loved the ability to express yourself and to create different experience. So what would you say to someone who wants to get into UI UX but they're saying, well, I don't really have a background in IT?
Okay, I don't think you really need a background in tech to get into UX. If you like to take pictures, if you feel like you're always led to have some kind of creative thought or some kind of creative input, then this is a field for you. Because it's not about the aesthetics. It really is about the functionality at the end of the day. But once you have an eye for design, if you have experience in being some kind, some kind of creative or what would I say, graphic design, or you just like to see things come together. If you have a producer mindset, a creative direction mindset, anything when it comes down to putting some kind of creative thought to paper, but in this case to screen, I think this is an avenue that you can try or even be successful in.
All right, and I noticed you said you were saying to paper and then you said to screen, because UI UX transcends a lot of fields, a lot of areas. It's not just in app that UI UX is applicable. It's not just in websites that UI UX is applicable. They're in film production, so screens on a whole, in terms of how it is that the frame is done, or where it is the button is located, how many clicks you have to do to get to solve the solution that you're trying to solve, how to authenticate or to whatever, it's all about getting that user experience right? Right?
Yeah.
Great. And we all know that users are very important to the different systems that we build. If it is that we have this great app and we have no users to use it because the experience is so terrible, this is going to hurt the business. If it is that we have this great website, but nobody's going to go on it because the colors are also terrible and they can't see it. And I do apologize. I think someone also mentioned that there was some yellow writing and it wasn't showing so well. So I guess I need to go back to my UI UX training, eh?
Maybe.
Maybe no worries, man. You can be honest, man. We're all good here. We're all good here. No bad vibes. It's just all about building the community of great technologists, great thinkers, great persons who are solving a problem. Because if there's a problem, Anna is going to solve it as long as she can get her mind around how it is that this website need to feel to get the users to use it. All right, so let's continue in our chat. And if it is that you guys would want to unmute and speak directly to Anna, feel free. You can raise your hands. Just of course be respectful, and we definitely. Oh, I'm seeing. So we do have questions on YouTube. So what can you do on a daily basis to grow UI for 5 minutes practically?
Figure out a project you want to do. If it's even a personal project, something you can add to your portfolio, or if you have a friend who's working on a project, like collaborate and just spend some time working on the project, because that's going to teach you how to look for your resources. It'll teach you how to collaborate with other people. That makes you more dynamic in a team setting. And I feel like the best way to learn is to just do. So you just have to get into figuring out a project. If that says like find something simple that you can solve and tackle it, even if it's only for 5 minutes, because that's more than doing nothing. So
Okay, so we have a hand raised. All right, so O'Shea, you can feel free to unmute.
Okay. Thank you, Alden and Anna. Just to tap on one of Anna's point about identifying problems and trying to solve it. So UI UX is cross-functional skill. So it's not just about website app, mobile app. You can apply UI UX to almost even physical products like vehicles, newspaper, magazine, whatever. So the point that I'm trying to make is that one of the key skills of UI UX is to identify patterns and identify issues that something may have. Like for example, you a 5 minute task, you could literally just go on a random website, look at how it looks, then compare it to a different website and look at the different elements, the use of color, typography, and so forth. So you get a deep understanding of good design versus bad design and how elements work together to, put emphasis on a particular design over another. Of course, there's like 1 minute to 2 minute, 1 minute to 5 minute YouTube shorts that you can just check out, which talks about good design, bad design, like the new patterns and so forth. So some of those are things that you can just, use 5 minutes of a day to just learn about the best practice in UI UX. And over time, all of that, a make a mock in Jamaican word, I guess.
Shane, before you finish there, somebody in the group chat asked, is there, what did it say? Whoa. Oh,
Is
wait.
it the link to the
Community,
community?
the local UX community. Could you share a little bit more about the local UX community?
All right, sure. So there is a UX UI designer network community. They are on LinkedIn as well as Telegram. They do events quite often. They were supposed to do an event this month, but it got canceled. It's run by Janice and Brittany Samuels. Both of them are really excellent UI UX designers. They did a research last year, I believe, or the year before, regarding the state of UI UX in the Caribbean. It's very insightful. It goes into like the best design, good practice, like how much how developed the Caribbean is when come on to UI UX, and the needs of the Caribbean in terms of UI UX, as well as space skill, where you can find jobs, and then just overall good patterns that have been used. I'm going to post the link for the LinkedIn um the page for the UX Designer Network Jamaica, as well as the article that they wrote about state of UI UX in the Caribbean.
Okay, so yes, that's essentially very very good, Anna, for pointing out that, and also for that person to be brave to ask for that information in the chat. So the reality is, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to write it in the chat. If you want to unmute and speak directly to Anna, or if there's a question you just want to ask in general, feel free. We're here to learn, to grow, and to just have fun doing tech, being productive. Because the reality is, you could sit, spend hours on Facebook, spend hours on Instagram, and not necessarily learn anything. But here's an opportunity for you guys to be able to interact and learn a bit more about UI UX and grow intellectually. All right, so we have Michael with your hand raised. Michael, please go ahead and unmute.
Hi guys. So, I've been interested in getting into UX UI for a very long time now. I'd say over about a year or going on 2 years now when I first discovered that it was a thing. My whole goal has been to transition into IT as a day-to-day job. I currently work in security with the government. However, I'm trying to be as remote as humanly possible, especially after COVID and having been hybrid remote for 3
Michael, we lost you
years, 3.5
after.
years, because I only started going back into office. Are you hearing me?
No,
Hello?
yeah, we're hearing you now.
Yeah, we're
We're
hearing
piecing
you.
the story together.
Right. So I was saying that I'm trying to be as remote as possible, especially after the whole COVID situation, because I would have been hybrid remote for 3.5 years. And then being told that I now have to return to being in office full time. I'm not trying to do that for the rest of my life anymore. So I was looking for different avenues. In my search, I would have come across different resources such as the Interaction Design Foundation, Google's own UX certification, that kind of thing. My issue is information overload. As somebody with no background in IT, not really sure how to get started, where would you point somebody like me to say, all right, this is what you need to do in order to be UX UI ready, work ready in 12 months?
O'Shane, you want to tackle that one?
Sure. So, in like in anything in life, the first thing you have to do is understand what something is and where to go. So first, what is UI UX? You need a good foundation. So the Google Digital Garage, you get good foundation from there. You also need to always have somewhat of a plan. and it's kind of hard to navigate like the career because there's so many paths you can take, so many things that you can learn, which is what you're pretty much asking about, the information overload. So the best thing that I would say is that there are like well-defined roadmaps. Like I've mentioned this in almost majority of the career events. There's roadmap.sh, which shows like a career path, things that you should know, things that you should do, and so forth, based on your level in that particular career. So so for example, having a foundation is like a number one thing. The second is like understanding what is good and bad design, knowing about your tools and so forth. Like Figma is a great starting point of a tool that you can utilize, and then you dive into prototyping and so forth. So it's pretty much having like a guide. These are things that you should learn based
Knowing about
on.
your tools and so forth.
I'm hearing an echo. Okay. Yeah. So based on your level, these are the pathway and things that you should learn. From understanding that roadmap, the other thing you should do, because reading and just learning won't necessarily pay your bills. So you also need to start off with some pet projects. So as you learn something, you try to think about a pet project that you can do for yourself that is not necessarily time consuming, but are easy to do. So for example, I always tell people, make sure once you start think about the end in mind, big picture. So start building your resume, start building your portfolio. As you learn, you can like create a resume website or a portfolio website for yourself. Also create like a blog, and then what you learn from these courses, the roadmap, use those knowledge to build your portfolio website or your blog website, because that is pretty much a marketing tool for you to get jobs, as well as if someone reach out to you, can say, oh, you can just go on my website and you see all my work portfolio and so forth. So you learn and build build and market yourself through that roadmap. So you get that sense of a path that creates, like, as you learn, you add a value to your portfolio, and that in terms would show that you have the skill set and knowledge to be a UI UX. And of course, like I said, roadmap that SH tend to have a lot of like pathways, things that you should know based on your level. I can add more, but I think that's generally the gist of knowing where you're at and where you should go. And you also need to decide, are you interested in what platform? Are you mostly interested in designing for mobile application, web application, desktop application? Having this well, just saying, based on platform, you should not restrict yourself to one platform, one tool, and so forth. But it's also somewhat good if you try to focus on one thing, become great at it, and then move on to conquer something else. So if you want to build like you use mobile application a lot more than web application, sometimes it's best to say, oh, you're going to focus on learning good bad designs, user experience, user journey, and prototyping for mobile application. And of course, if you notice you're mostly on your computer, going on websites, so forth, then you focus on that. But regardless, you should always ensure that you have additional skills from whichever field in UI UX.
Okay, thank you so much, O'Shane. So in summary, get on
Right.
a project, get on a project, because if just to recap, one of the things that Anastasia did was that she went to university and then she had a mentor that recognized that she had a skill and then say, hey, try UI UX. And so that was really where she started. So there was some project that brought out this skill. All right. And I'm seeing where O'Shane will have posted some roadmap. And the roadmap will essentially guide you to what to do. I believe we have another hand up.
Yeah, Terry left a message in the chat.
Oh,
Hi,
well,
Terry.
hi. Before you get to my question, I was actually going to comment after O'Shane spoke. He gave some excellent points. From my experience, to avoid the overload as well, I enrolled in a course where I could actually interact with the teacher and the students. I opted not to do like Google certificate because, the self-paced learning, it just wasn't working for me. So I opted to join a course where I could speak to the teacher and speak to the students. And then while doing the course now, we were able to build our portfolios through the work that we did in the course, and that is what actually helped me to land my job after the course finished. And that roadmap that O'Shane spoke of while in the class, you actually go through that roadmap. So it'll help to condense all the information instead of jumping from one side to the next and one page to the next and all over the place. So it's good that you join a program that will kind of condense all the information and help you to navigate your way into the field. And then you can answer my question there. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
wait, Terry, before you jump, well, before we go into your question and before O'Shane shares again, what program was this on?
Oh, I actually did Memorizely.
Memorizely?
Yeah, it's an online program. I can put the link in the chat. But it's 8 or 10 weeks, but it was really intensive. And so we had a lot of coursework, a lot of peer work, and we worked on real world projects. So by the time you're finished, you feel like you're actually in the field and you're working on real world projects. You learn the principles, you learn all the different laws, and it really helps you to kind of transition into the field. While I have a background in IT, it doesn't really matter about that because they treat everyone as if they know nothing.
Understood. All
Thanks
right.
for
So just
sharing.
a quick before you guys jump in again. So we actually do have regular meetings because I think this was actually asked earlier. We actually do have regular career meetings per month. This is our 24th one. So all our videos, or most of our videos are actually on YouTube. So if it is that you missed it, or if you joined late, or if it is that you have to drop early, because I'm seeing where Jody's saying, hey, she have to drop early, but no problem, Jody, we got you covered. It's on YouTube. Just gonna ask either Jason or Shane if you could just drop the YouTube page, YouTube channel in the chat for us. So for those persons who have to drop early, no problem, we got you. It's gonna be recorded and you can check it out. We've done career days on animation, we've done career days on web development, etc. So regardless of which field that you are interested in, we got you. If you miss it, we got you. All right. Now back over to you, Anastasia.
Okay, Terry asks, do you get overwhelmed with all of the things you have to keep up with? Do we? Principles, trends, how do you deal with that and not constantly feel like you have so much to learn? So I really do believe that sometimes we have to just trick our mind. We really have to tell ourselves that we have everything under control and take it one step at a time. Even though things might be different and there might be a lot of tasks piled up that you have to complete. One thing that I really do try is to stay as organized as possible. Working with a team who understands and values organization, it helps a lot as a designer. So if you have that, if you don't have that, then we have to think about ways how you can figure out what's the best way that you work, just to keep your mental health in check. Because I believe that being a designer is very taxing. It could take hours just to make one icon for a whole entire page that you have to do. So I try to give myself moments for myself, and it's even when I'm designing, even if that means I'm closing my eyes for a second or I'm doing something along the lines that I would call like active recovery. So if I'm not typically working in a Figma document or doing something directly with the screen, I figure out how can I translate that in a different way where I'm still being productive, but I am trying to just manage all of the works that I have, principles, trends. I feel like it does get a little bit bombarding, but there's only so much that you can know and so much you can take in. And I feel like maybe because of social media and how rapid things are in the world, we think we need to know everything at the same time that it's dropped. But the truth is, I don't think we do. It's good to know. It's always good to be current, but I don't think we should make that the main focus. I think it should really be your quality of your work and what you do know and what you're able to accomplish and achieve. So I try to stay on that thought more so than everything else that can make things seem a lot more overwhelming. And how do I constantly deal with that and not constantly feel like I have so much to learn? I just take it day by day. I write down a goal for the week. If it comes down to learning something new in UX, research, I just kind of schedule that into my weekly plans, just to make the most sense of things. And yeah, just make it a part of my life, like integrate it in a positive way and a healthy way versus thinking that there's so much I don't know and there's so much I need to know because I've already accepted that there is so much I need to know and there's so much that I don't know. But if I surround myself with a community that will always be pouring into me, then I know that I will always be learning more. And just shifting me into that world of I have this information, now it only takes me a click away to give 5 or so minutes to reading this material, to sitting with that material, and then at a later time, or maybe in that moment, if you have that time to dive into something new, then you go about doing that. But it can be a very overwhelming field. I feel like tech is, in general, everything is just moving and changing rapidly every single day. So we have to keep that in mind and keep our mental health in check. But make a goal, take it one step at a time. That's what I've been doing. It's been working for me, and I'm still here. So yeah, any other tips anybody wants to share along this line? The floor is yours.
Okay, so I think you have been saying it, but I think for those persons who may not have records, getting those time in to and I believe you kind of skirt around it as well, that you do volunteer work and you do try to give back to your community. You did mention that earlier, but could you tell us a little bit more about some of the things that you do?
Yeah,
Like
so
your
some of the things that I do, okay, something that I love to do, I'll speak about swimming first. I feel like swimming helps me a lot with that balance. The water is a very safe space. If you know, if you don't have a fear for the water, it's a very safe space for your mind to just relax, for you to exercise. So that's something that I love to do. Water aerobics, swimming. I also train a swim club right now, Tornado Swim Club. And before getting up and, being an adult, I was actually a swimmer for that club. I was the captain of that club. So now being back on the island, I've found, or I kind of just had to make it a part of my life to be somewhere near the water, only because it gives me a sense of peace. So I do try to keep that in my practice, and it calms me down. It makes me feel sane and humane, and I don't take that for granted. So that's one way that I kind of volunteer. Um, Besides from that, me well, I guess volunteering myself into a robot coach. That's been an interesting experience as well. I think that keeps me on my toes because as much as I've been aware of robotics for a long time, I've never really decided to code for a robot. So tackling that with kids, it's been a very fun and interesting experience as it's new for me, it's new for them, and it's different now when I'm working with adults, I'm working with kids, but I'm also learning with kids, and their curiosity and their creative nature inspires me, which I feel like that helps me in my life. So it's like a nice exchange. I just find ways to exchange great vibes with other people because that, as I said, it ignites something inside of me and it keeps my fire burning for the things that I am passionate about. So I just find ways to volunteer in the areas that I'm passionate about. Also with dance, I film a lot of dance around Jamaica, specifically women in dancehall. If anybody's interested in that, I will leave my email and LinkedIn, and if you want to learn more about those kinds of projects. But yeah, I just find areas where I'm passionate and I keep those passions alive.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Anna. Now, I think there's some more questions going on in the chat. Do you have an idea of what the average salary for someone in UI UX? Guess there's junior, mid, and maybe senior. Do you have any idea of what those salaries look like?
I do, but I believe that O'Shane has a better idea than I do. So I'm going to open the floor to O'Shane.
All right, O'Shane, you've been called out.
Uh, uh, um, can you repeat? I do apologize. I got distracted.
The question is, what's the average salary for someone in UI UX, also junior, mid, senior? Which local companies do you know of that hire UX UI designers? I feel that's a lot right now. And who do you believe is the top UX designer in the country, Jamaica land we love?
Okay, so one, I'm not going to answer the second part. Who do we believe is the top? That's purely subjective. I know too many individuals in that space to do a name call. All right. So in terms of the first question now, um, it varies. It varies by companies, of course, and it varies by the industry. So you find that banks and fintech type of the companies pay more to UI UX and so forth because those tend to be mission critical. But and don't quote me on these numbers. I haven't been in it, like I haven't done research recently of the pay scale. But a junior UI UX tend to get like just out of um college, university, let's say there's no project, there's no portfolio, anything, the minimum you probably can expect is 80. But once there's like at least 6 months of experience, it tends to be between 120 to per month, by the way. 120 to 220 to or 250 for a junior. Then mid-level it ranges between like 230 to 300, and then seniors tend to be UIX developer that can, take a project um um on their own to the fullest. Lead a team when it come on to the UI team, as well as communicate with developers, other stakeholders, because between like mid-level to senior, those it's that type of individuals tend to develop their, interpersonal relationship and a bit of understanding of project management to help steer the design and what customers are seeing about the application and how to build a better customer experience. So you see that range from like 350 to all the way up to like seniors 350 all the way up to 700, depending on the company and industry. Banks tend to pay a lot more to developers and UX designers than you know like a tech firm and so forth. But also you can expect like UI UX tend to get like benefits. So there's also that. And a lot of UI UX tend to do freelance jobs. So it's flexible to do freelance jobs to earn more. There's like Fiverr and other places that you can go to earn an extra bucks on the side. But yeah, that's pretty much like it for now. I guess we will do another survey about salary. So whenever that survey is like we conduct that survey and publish it, we will have more concrete numbers for everyone. And I of course we will of course send out an email or so forth whenever we publish that result.
Okay. Thank you so much, Oshane. So yes, you have some ballpark figures as it relates to joining the field. All right. So we have some more questions around salary apparently. So this one is it possible for one to own a Mark X with a UI UX designer salary? So, Anna, do you have a Mark X?
That's a car.
Yeah, yes, it's a car. But I don't know what's so special about Mark
Wait,
X.
what? What's the question?
So yes, it's a car.
All right. I feel like maybe it's a possibility. It could be a possibility for you if you have asked this question, whoever asked this question. That's my answer.
Okay. So,
No, I'm not. No Mark X's over here.
okay. No problem. No problem. All righty. Um, yes, we have a hand up.
Right.
Michael. Yes.
What I wanted to ask, um, regarding the whole salary position as well, is there any scope for overseas companies and any idea of what the earning potential is like for working with an overseas company? Also, do you guys have any recommendations or tips to get jobs for remote overseas companies?
All right. So for tips as it relates to overseas, what they're going to be looking for is portfolio. You definitely need to have some portfolio, some projects, whether it is some pet stuff that you're working on, because we have had recruiters approach us. We've had some persons from, was it Barbados, who I believe they were looking for some UI UX persons. I don't know if the position is still open, but you can always check out our past career days when we would have announced that. So definitely portfolio would be a good bet, and simply apply. One of the things that most interviewers would ask at the end of the interview is, do you have a question that you'd want to ask? They normally ask the person who they're interviewing. And one of the things that you can ask when you get to those interviews, it's just say, yeah, tell me how was I? Were there any things that you'd want to point out? And I'm pretty sure they would definitely not be afraid to point out some stuff, whether or not you are successful or not in the interview. But we definitely hope that you know, find those areas that you can work overseas.
Okay. So just to quickly touch on portfolio, like I said, website, your own blog, and visual appealing. Make sure you do have a Dribble account. And of course you can post stuff on what's that thing called? I have it on my phone. But there are like websites that like people go and discover like app design and so forth. So you can post app design, website designs on those type of website. Um, I do apologize if I mispronounce this. Pinterest or Pinterest, whichever way it's pronounced. So that's a good place to post like designs to get recognition, as well as LinkedIn. So you do like concept designs or redesigns of established website, or you can build it. In terms of landing the job, all right. So the interview process is one thing, and we can touch on that like in another session. But the key part is finding the job, or the job finding you. Like I said, portfolio is a way for jobs to find you. You find jobs. You can go on Indeed, you can go on Upwork, and that other place, that Fiverr, and just create a account and post. Of course, when come on to like full-time, part-time. Yeah, LinkedIn, I think, is one of the best place for you to find UI UX jobs that different companies are posting about, and just apply. And your portfolio slash resume is really what you need to show. And when you apply for a job, remember that a resume or a portfolio says a lot. So you need to tailor your resume for the job that you are applying. So you can when they look at your resume or portfolio, it literally speaks to what they're seeking, like their product. For example, if it's a fintech company, show them designs and resume speaking to the fintech industry. I, Otherwise from that, I guess you could ask certain questions in the chat, and we can just do a follow-up session about it.
Okay, right. So yeah, just one other thing to add is you have to be a part of the various communities. So like our community, once it is that we find a job that is out there, that is within the tech field, we're gonna be posting it. So by all means, join our community. We actually are on Telegram. And I believe we've also put in the chat the UI UX community, and Jamaica. Actually, we have a number of communities that are coming around in Jamaica in the space. So we even have JAIA, Jamaica Artificial Intelligence Association. So there are various communities out there that would definitely be encouraging persons to get involved, get connected, find mentors. As long as the information is available, we're definitely going to share it. I hope that answers the question. All right. So we are going to be wrapping up. But of course, add your questions to the chat, because we're going to be doing some more discussions around different careers, opportunities available. And if, of course, you guys would want to participate in future events, whether it is that you'd want to share your talent or your skill, to motivate someone else to join the field, definitely, you can always send us an email, community@caribbean.dev, or if it is that there's some questions that we didn't get a chance to get around to, or there's a particular speaker on a particular career that you'd want us to revisit, by all means, send us an email. We would definitely look out for those emails. And just gonna go into a little bit more about the community. This is essentially who we are, the Jamaican Developers Community. This is actually outdated. We have passed the 1,000 mark. I believe we're now at more than 1,003, I believe, but I'm gonna have to update this slide here. But yes, we are the Jamaican Developers Community, and as we've said before, we're not just developers. We have testers, we have cybersecurity persons in the group, we have artificial intelligence persons in the group, we have UI UX persons within the group. So get involved, guys, get connected. We're here to grow, we're here to learn, we're here to share our skills and talents. With that being said, I want to thank our very talented speaker, Anastasia Chin, very talented young lady. We want to thank you guys, or participants, all those persons who had questions and shared them, all those persons who just made this whole session interactive, even the various links that you guys have placed in the chat for stuff where persons can learn or go get certified or just find a roadmap. Definitely thank you guys for participating. And for those persons who didn't get a chance to get all the discussion on the career day, we're gonna post the link again for you guys to get it on YouTube. It is recorded, so for those persons who missed some of it or didn't get a chance to stay on for the whole of it, we're gonna be posting that link again in the chat, so you can check out this event as well as our past events, because we do have, this is our 24th career day, so we had done a lot of other career days. We've done crash courses. So guys, this is a very good community to be a part of and just stay in the know. Unfortunately, just one more thing to mention, this is actually going to be our final event for this year. So next year, definitely look out for us again. We're going to be kicking things back up again. And we're going to be rolling out hybrid meetings. So some of our meetings will not be strictly online. This one is strictly online. Look forward to our hybrid meetings where we're going to be having persons physically together in a space and some persons online. All right. And we see where Jason has posted how to get connected to us on social media. So once again, thank you guys for coming. These are some additional information as to how to get in contact with us, get our information, etc. Oh, and the resource screen. Yes, Anastasia is posting the resource screen, so you guys can get some more information on some available resources out there. Once again, guys, thank you for coming. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Be safe. Enjoy all the Christmas goodies, and see you again next year, God's willing. Blessings.
Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.
Bye.